welcome. I'm hoping you guys can hear the sound. For those who are joining in right now, or for those who will join later in the live, for those who also watch it as a replay, my name is Silvester and I'm a funding specialist. I'm really excited today because in this live, I'm going to help you guys learn how to apply for an SBA loan. I'm super excited because it's over 10 years of different trials and tribulations working with small business owners, helping them acquire working capital even when they thought they couldn't. So I can promise you guys that this works. So it's very important. If you have a pen and paper, take notes. So if you have struggled to apply for an SBA loan, understand how it works, or even figure out whether or not your business is qualified for it, then this is definitely the live for you. Alright, so in this video we're going to learn exactly, give me 1 second, let me pull up my slides. I need to be more prepared. Alright, so I was saying, in this video we're going to learn technical error, right? So in this video we're going to learn the SBA loan application process, like how you apply for SBA loans, like the step-by-step process to apply for SBA loans successfully. We're also going to learn the eligibility requirements and understanding what qualification you and your business needs to meet approval. We're also going to learn the different types of SBA loans. We're going to explore the different types of loan options and find the right option that actually fits you, because one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of business owners make is assuming that the SBA loan is one package. They don't understand that it's different types for different needs, and we'll discuss that as we go ahead. We'll also learn the pros and cons of using an SBA loans. We'll weigh the disadvantages versus the advantages of SBA loan as financing option, and we'll also show you the resources and next steps, because this is one thing nobody really tells you, including a lot of banks. The secrets they don't want you to know is that there's actual tools that you can use to match your business with the lender that's actually approved by the SBA loans. I see a lot of videos out here that just show how to apply. Yes, they're well packaged, but after that they just leave you hanging. But in this video I'm going to show you the right tools, an SBA matching tool on the SBA website that will help you find a lender that can actually guide you to funding an SBA loan that meets your needs. Anyway, as we continue, so the biggest question they're asking to do on how to apply for an SBA loan is, what is an SBA loan? In general terms, an SBA loan is just basically any type of loan that is backed by the government. Like if an institution just decides to give a loan and is approved by the SBA loan, the SBA agency, then it basically becomes an SBA loan. But that's kind of vague. So let's just imagine when we were back as kids, if I'm explaining what an SBA loan is. And when you're at the playground, you wanted to get a few toys to play with your friends, but maybe your friends were not really comfortable sharing the toy with you. But then the teacher steps in and says, hey, don't worry, if you guys share the toys, then if something happens to it, I promise you I'll take care of it, or I'll help pay or fix it. Now the teacher's not, now after that she'll be more comfortable if you're the one who owns the toy to give it out, or like you, it'll be more easier for you to get the toy. But now it's not the teacher actually giving out the toy, it's the student giving out the toy. So the SBA is the same thing. It comes as a backup. The bank wants to give you the money, but the risk is too high. So the SBA as an agency steps in and backs up the land, making it less riskier for the lender. So here's one thing they also don't tell you. The biggest myth is that SBA loans are very, very hard. And one of the biggest mistakes, again, people make is not applying for SBA loans because they assume it's hard. But that's not really true if you consider the fact that the SBA were actually made for free and fair market, like for businesses to be able to acquire working capital in a free and fair playing ground. And this is true if you look at the SBA Act in 1953 that was established, that was signed by President Dwight in 1953. So the main aim of this was to counsel, aid, and assist small businesses and also preserve free competitive enterprises. So if you see here and say that they made that it's impossible to qualify, then that kind of doesn't make sense, because in reality they are designed to make and help small businesses, not shut them out. And with the proper guidance and paperwork, you can actually get approved. Now, the other myth is that it takes forever to get funded. Yes, it's true for some of the loans that are out here in terms of SBA loans, but specifically for some, such as the SBA Express loans, I can guarantee you it only takes 36 hours to get approved and 30 days to get funded. The other one is that it's only for big businesses. If you look at it, it's called Small Business Administration. I've seen a lot of businesses just assume because they have high revenue and they have a couple hundred employees that they might not apply for SBA because it's just for small businesses. But hey, there's a tool that I'll also show you in this live that will help you identify whether or not your business is a small business. Alright, now I know what you're thinking. Now we've talked about all this stuff, but where do you actually get an SBA loan? As I already mentioned through the definition, the SBA is just an agency that doesn't really give out loans. They use third parties to issue out funds. So these third parties include traditional banks, credit unions, and private lenders. And each single one of them have their own eligibility criteria, or they put down their own requirements. Some might need like a 2-year benchmark. Some might need a credit score of 650 and above. But if you stick till the end, I will show you guys how to use the lender match tool on the SBA website, because a lot of other websites, other videos just show you how to apply for an SBA loan and leave you hanging. Yes, you can go to your regular traditional bank, but I'm pretty sure you want to talk to a real person, and that's why I'll show you the tool later in the video. Alright, now, so what are the SBA loan requirements? So the first requirement that you need to have is that your business has to be profitable. You have to demonstrate that you're generating revenue and have growth in potential. So basically what they usually say is that your business is predominantly measured by your revenue and your profits. So if you don't have none of that, and apparently you can't qualify. If you have an NGO or a non-profitable business, then you're not eligible. The other part is you have to be US based. Your business has to be registered by your Secretary of State or local government in the United States. Otherwise you're not able to qualify. If you're watching from Canada, US, or other places, unfortunately you're not able to qualify. Then the other requirement is you have to qualify as a small business, and I said there's a tool that you can check to see if you qualify, and we'll check that later at the end of the video. And then the other one is you have to have owner equity. You have to have at least 20% or more shares. You can't be like 5% owner, 11% owner. Like, you have to be 20% and above. And again, some of these requirements vary with the lender. Some lenders are flexible, especially in terms of credit worthiness, and also what is it called, the amount of collateral that you have to put down. So you also have to understand that you must exhaust all other financing options, and you are not eligible if you are in an industry that includes gambling, adult entertainment industry, or cannabis. Though cannabis, there's some lenders that are trying to work through the laws depending on the state that you operate in to actually fund the deal, but don't take my word for that. Where cannabis is still strongly a non-eligible industry. Alright, so now what are the different types of SBA loans? So there's several types of SBA loans. As mentioned earlier, when they were started back in 1953, they were started due to disaster and relief management. So for time purposes, we'll only focus on the 3 main SBA loans, which is the 7A loan, the SBA 504 loan, and the SBA micro loan. Alright, and again, if you guys are watching right now, if you have any questions, you have any opinions, thoughts, please put it in the comment. Even if it's through the replay, ask any questions. I love questions. And let's continue. So with the SBA 7A loan, the main purpose for it is usually for general business funding, and they fund up to $5 million. They're mostly used for general working capital, real estate, equipment acquisition, and debt refinancing. Now, it's important to note that with the S7A loan, it takes at least 30 to 60 days for the process of application and at least 90 days to get approved and funded. However, I can call it its little cousin, that's called the SBA Express loan, which you should check out. It only takes 36 hours to get approved for that one and 30 days to get funded if approved, and it's called the SBA Express loan. However, the maximum you only get approved for that is $500,000, no more than that. Then there's the SBA 504 loan. It's best used for long-term fixed assets. It's up to $15 million, and it's best used for land acquisition, building construction, renovation, and major equipment. Then last but not least, there's the SBA micro loan. This is best used for small business, like when you have just small business needs like $50,000. It's also good to note that with the SBA micro loan, there's no need for collateral, because with $50,000 and below, most lenders will be flexible and will work more with your credit score and the health of your business revenue. So it's best used for working capital, inventory, equipment, startup cost, and acquisitions, like pretty small acquisitions, I would say. Now, what are the pros and cons of SBA loans? Now, it's good to understand that the pros and cons, or the advantages and disadvantages, actually come about with the fact that the SBA as an agency is involved in backing up the lender. That's making the loan less riskier or less risky. So, for example, it's going to be easier to qualify for an SBA loan with the backing of the SBA agency, as Small Business Administration as an agency, as compared to a traditional loan. Because now the traditional loan, if you really think about it, a traditional loan, I'll give it a bank A. Bank A is giving you $100,000, and you have to give them collateral for maybe $50,000, and you're writing on your credit score and your business health. However, the bank has to cover the risk of the whole $100,000, so it's not going to be easier for you to qualify for that loan. When the SBA steps in and says, hey, we'll cover a portion of this loan, now the risk is lower for the lender. So now it's going to be easier for you to qualify for it, because now the lender kind of is pulling back the strings of the rope, or loosening up the ropes. So it's going to be more accessible than a traditional first small loan. Also, they'll be able to give you large amounts. Instead of giving you $100,000, now they can actually give you $200,000, because the SBA is actually backing them up in case your business defaults on the loan. Then you'll also have better terms, which means longer repayment periods and competitive interest rates. And I can tell you this, guys, for now, the SBA loans are one of the best loans out there. There's nothing that even comes close. However, the disadvantages of this, again, due to the involvement of the agency, is it takes a long time to be approved. The process is long because, again, the risk is high. So they have to make sure you're credit worthy, you're running a legitimate business, and that you're sustainable. So applications can take 30 to 90 days to even get funded. Now, again, you also need collateral, which most loans require some form of security or down payment. But as I said earlier, if you're applying for the SBA micro loan of $25,000 and below, then most lenders will not request for collateral. All right, now, so I'm not a gatekeeper, and I'm not going to gatekeep none of this, but the truth of the matter is not a lot of people understand what lenders are looking for. So what is it? in basic terms, it's usually the 4 C's, which is capacity, collateral, credit, and cash flow. But for this case, for the SBA loans, we'll just do the basics, which lenders are looking for your assets to make sure that you're able to secure the loan in case you default. And again, as I said, it's common for loans above 25,000. Types of collateral can include cars, assets, and please, stocks. You cannot use your stocks or securities as collateral. The other thing you need to do is credit score. So your credit score varies by lender, but most of them would like to see a 650 and above. The higher you have, the better the chances. And also now, with the lower score, maybe you might have to put down a bigger down payment or collateral that's of a bigger value. Again, the other part is cash flow. Just make sure you don't have too many negative days. I will tell you, like, a rule of thumb is that try not to have a third each month of negative days in your business bank account. So that means in 30 days, do not have no more than 3 days each month of negative days. You're allowed like one this week, skip the other week, because life happens. Again, the other thing that lenders are looking for is the ability for you to put down a down payment, especially if you're borrowing around 100,000 and above. Give me a second, I'm gonna fix this. Again, if you're joining us right now, if you're joining us later or during the replay, feel free to chime in with your thoughts, opinions, and questions. And then again, so now, last but not least, for your checklist, now that you already know what the lenders are looking for, you need to have a solid business plan written down. You need to know the amount that you require and the funds you need. You need to fix your credit score. Unfortunately, there's no way around that, especially when it comes to SBA loans. However, if you're struggling to apply for an SBA loan due to low credit score or cash flow, you can be able to acquire working capital using alternative lending. And please feel free to check the link in the description where it says Master the Art of Using Debt to Grow Your Business, and you can get in contact with somebody that can actually help you qualify for a business loan with low credit that actually meets your needs. Alright, the other thing that you need to have for the application checklist for the SBA loans is financial projections, and then collateral documentation. This can include titles, and then you also have to show industry experience. Most times they need at least 2 years of you being in the same industry. And again, I said, if it's one thing you guys take from this video, to be honest, is learning how to use your business as leverage to acquire working capital. So how do you do that? You master these 3 factors, which is knowledge, you fix your reputation, and you build your network. And I don't want to give exact examples, but if you look at the big successful rich people, they have a very big reputation, they build their network, and they're well informed or knowledgeable in their industry. Alright, so now how do we take action? So first of all, we need to fix our credit. There's resources out there to do that, and we don't do that here, like fix a credit, but there's ways you can do that if you have to be frugal or find an expert. And then the second part is find a specialized lender. As I promised you guys that in the video I was going to show you, I'm going to leave a link in the description on how you can be able to find a lender. So with this one, there's the SBA tool. It's a lender match tool. If you guys are seeing the red here right now, it's because at the moment the government is shut down and they are not issuing any SBA loans, like SBA applications, processes, everything is shut down. But do not be afraid. Hopefully by the time you're watching this, everything is back to normal, because I believe the government is not going to get shut down forever. Yes, alright. So again, so do not worry about that, but the link is going to be in the description. It should still be solid by the time you're watching this, whenever you're watching this. Don't forget to like, comment. So with the lender tool, the one thing I keep saying, as I said, you have to build your network, your knowledge, and your reputation. Lenders are part of your network, especially when it comes to business. Learn to build up relationship with the lender and put them in your back pocket, that you can call them anytime on speed dial when you need funds to grow your business or for an emergency. So how do you find a lender? So I already put the link in the description. So the lenders, you have to find a lender. Here's how it works. So first of all, you have to describe your needs. You're going to answer a few questions which are in the next page. Then you're going to get matched with the lender based on the description of your needs in a matter of days, probably 48 hours. Here they say 2 days. Then you're going to be able to talk to a lender. Feel free to talk to them, and I can tell you right now for a fact that you don't have to be married to that lender. If you're not comfortable, you feel they're not the right fit for you, you can keep searching. The tool is here, it's free. Just go ahead, use it to the best of your ability, and like as much as you can. And then last but not least, once you find the lender that you're comfortable with working with, you submit an application, and then you should be ready to get a loan. Probably if it's an express loan in 30 days, if it's anywhere between a 7A loan, 504 loan, or even a micro loan, can take 30 to 60 days. So now before you get ready, this was the checklist. Have a business plan. And again, the good thing about watching this video is, as I promised, I will help you guys finding mentors, and you can find them at a website called at an organization called SCORE. Now, SCORE is a group of well-informed mentors willing to help you write a business plan and package your application. So I've also left a link in the description. Again, if anybody's watching this, okay, let's see. Alright, so how to find a mentor, it's how it works. You click here. So you just come here. I'm in Washington, I'm in New York, so 1033, and then boom, just put down the information and they will definitely contact you. With the lenders, for you to find a lender, you click right here, then you put your name and continue, then you answer a few questions, and again they will be able to contact you. So other than that, we should be good. Let's see, we should be good. So thank you, visionaries, for staying in touch. If you're really struggling with applying for an SBA loan and want to learn how it works and how to make your business qualify, there's a playlist in my page on my video. You should check that out. And thank you for being builders instead of consumers. And if you're feeling that strong urge to continue, it's because your future self has already achieved what's pulling you right now. So it's about taking action. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.